Black Box Production.
These dudes, that group thing don't never ever turn out just to be a smooth ride. Not saying that, you know, we don't find a multitude of artists in situations as single artists, solo artists that are not desirable. That's definitely true. But it seems, without doubt, when you in a group, it just is never enough money to go around. You have to be a pretty big mega group, and then typically, traditionally, branch off, have successful solo careers for groups to sustain a substantial career through the years. Or if not solo careers as artists, some type of other endeavor to be extremely successful, and then the groups tend to come back together and reinvest time and energy into the brand for a time period, and then they separate and do other things and come back. And that's typically, in my belief, because the nature of building a brand, once you develop a certain amount of momentum, a brand is typically worth a number. And with music, based on the number of pieces of songs, is the brand is typically going to be based worth the same amount, whether it's a solo artist or a group, in a lot of ways. So the money that's coming in got to be split a lot of times between the number of members of the group. So can you imagine the Migos' success and that success that they reached as a third be experienced as one part? It'll be three times the money around for the person experiencing the success, which is not there. So it probably led them to start looking around, counting coins, and trying to figure out why things are tighter than they would appreciate them to be. And it seems like they tend to find fault with their lawyers. And I know how this legal game be with the industry. I remember when the only record deal I ever signed was through Universal G Unit. And I remember when I was first presented with my deal, and I was about to go and start, I started trying to find lawyers. I happened to tell Theo Stoudemire, which was the lawyer representing the people that I was going to be negotiating with or against. I told him I was trying to find a lawyer, and he was like, "Oh, well, check it out. We're doing it this way. We'll refer you to a lawyer, and we'll take care of the lawyer fees. You don't have to pay a lawyer fee, which is typically 15%, or you can hire them at an hourly rate, which could subsequently wind you up over the total of 15%. So that's like the going rate. So it's like they're telling me they're gonna refer me to a lawyer, and when I go to their lawyer, their friend, and then he's gonna negotiate this agreement on my behalf between them and myself, and then we'll have the deal done, and everything will be good. And I ain't gonna lie, I went to one meeting with the lawyer that they referred me to up in Beverly Hills. And not only after that meeting did I have to end up go holler at Suge, me and Puto on some other shit. Big U was there that day too. But anyway, the lawyer, it didn't sit right with me having a lawyer representing me that was referred to me by the people that I was litigating against. I explained to, first I told Theo, I'm like, check this out. The only thing I know about the legal system is through criminal law. And it just don't make no sense to me for the people that I'm negotiating against to appoint me my representation. I said, unless you have no other choice, appoint me my representation. I said, unless you have no other choice, you by all means you avoid having a public defender. So I'm not comfortable proceeding with representation referred by you. That don't make no sense to me. So I'm just gonna get my own lawyer. And I remember Theo tried to like throw a nut. He was like, well, 50 ain't gonna want to do the deal. All right, if that's the way you want to go, you have it your way. Wow, like making it sound like you trying to be too big for your britches type thing. So I'm like, all right. I hung up with Cuz. I immediately called Curtisha. I'm like, check it out. Wow. Cuz was like, man, I don't care who your lawyer is. Let's get the deal done. So then I subsequently went out and obtained my own entertainment lawyer, only to find out that everyone else signed to that situation had a lawyer that was referred to them by Curtisha lawyer. That was crazy. But to find these dudes in a situation with their lawyer just remind me of how cold and sick the game is. And this is a story I found on the subject. It says Migos have found themselves in the middle of another lawsuit, but this time they are the plaintiffs. Quavo, Offset, and Takeoff are suing their longtime lawyer, Damian Granderson, over allegedly excessive fees and conflicts of interest. The trio claims they were robbed and cheated out of millions of dollars by Granderson. They're suing for professional malpractice, breach of fiduciary duty, violation of California business and profession codes, unfair competition, and unjust enrichment. According to documents obtained by the Hollywood Reporter, Migos have accused Granderson of glaring conflicts of interest since he also represents their label, Quality Control Music. The group says their attorney has been more favorable to Quality Control, negotiating one-sided deals that weren't in Migos' best interest. Migos' new lawyer, Brian Friedman, argues Granderson looked at the rappers as easy targets when he began working with them in the early stages of their careers, which included negotiations for 300 Entertainment to distribute their 2014 debut album, Young Rich Nation. Freedom contends the group was easy prey because they were in their late teens and early 20s with high school educations. The suit claims Granderson later initiated a dispute with 300 to facilitate the group's move to Capitol Records, yet the deal was skewed in favor of Quality Control. He allegedly negotiated a 2018 amendment with Capitol that extended the agreement between Migos and Quality Control, handcuffing the trio's label options. Granderson effectively prevented his other client, Migos, from ever being free of paying excessive compensation to QCM, from ever being signed to any other record label, and from ever obtaining negotiating leverage to secure reasonable terms in connection with the distribution of its musical recordings. Friedman writes, Migos are seeking restitution and punitive damages beyond millions of dollars. They also want a 5% contingent fee agreement to be ruled invalid. Granderson began working with Migos in 2013. The attorney's current firm, Granderson, Des Rogers, and his former employee, David Shapiro, are both named in the suit. So, here they are with a lawyer representing them that represented the label, and they caught up in that ping pong where they getting banged upside the head the whole time by the person, the only one person, even in the criminal system, the one person they tell you don't gotta lie to, the one person you can talk to is your lawyer. So because we not good with reading those type of terms and we don't understand everything, there's so much paper, once we get somebody who don't look like us, or even if it's a black person, they a lawyer and they looking at it, you typically rest on it. They write on it, they tell you we need to change this, and you trust they got your best interest in mind. Look what kind of trick bag you could be in if your lawyer also represents the people you're negotiating against, or is referred to you, or is a friend of. I'm just thinking about me and my partners. Herb in here right now. If I was a lawyer, Herb a lawyer. Herb got a client that has interest in negotiating with another client. If Herb could say, hey, check it out, SPI, I'm finna throw you this bone, represent these people, I need to get this deal done with them, I need you to be their lawyer so I can have it all. Just think about how simple that is to figure out, and how thirsty you have to be an artist to still first to engage in into that type of arrangement. I'm gonna give them a pass because they was babies, but other people older to go ahead and go that route and then be surprised in the long run that you taking a licking. But hopefully they could unwind up out of that and get their little situation together. But I know that's probably why old boy locked in with that baggery with old Cardi, because he like, I know it's looking good, but it's 3 of us. And the lawyer wearing us out, so he had to tap in. Oh, blah, 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 blah. You gotta salute the player. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Blah, 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 blah.
Snake Wood Net Hustle. Big shout out to my nigga SPI, Spotter Low. You know I'm in the black box. Had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned. All that.